As well as being a festival season, August is, of course, holiday time, believe it or not. Nowadays, there are many more options for what to do with your time off, including a brand new way of exploring Britain's Christian heritage. JB Gill has been to Shropshire to try it out.
I'm a huge lover of being outdoors, and there's nothing better than pitching up a tent and having a great time in the countryside. But tonight, I'm trying camping with a difference. Here we are. I'm going champing. Yes, that's camping in a church. Peter Ayres of the Churches Conservation Trust is the man behind the idea. Peter, camping inside a church. How did that come about?
Well, we're a charity. We've got 352 historic churches that we look after. We were looking at different ways it could be used to raise money. Historic churches are for everybody, the most democratic of historic buildings, and it's really important that the spaces remain open. So this whole new audience are coming to our buildings and really enjoying them for what they are.
Is anyone slightly apprehensive, as I am, of staying in a place surrounded by a graveyard?
Well, it's not the graveyard you need to worry about here. I think it's the Roman soldiers that march past every night. No, I mean, the whole experience is really, really positive. There's such tranquil spaces. All the feedback is, what a beautiful, peaceful place. So here we are.
Wow, it's a beautiful church. What can people expect when they come champing?
Well, we provide these very, very comfy champing beds for you. You can see there's a hamper with some treats in there for you. We've got lanterns, we've got these amazing LED candles. They look just like real candles, but they don't set fire to the building or drop wax on our ancient stonework.
Well, it's a lot more luxurious than I did think it was going to be.
Really? Oh, good.
So what sort of things are special to this church?
Well, you're standing next to the best font in our collection of churches. This is made from a Roman column, a piece of Roman architecture, which has become the font.
Do you want people to take away a deeper significance of the churches that they stay in?
People come for lots of different reasons, and if you dwell in these buildings, you get a sense of what's been going on for generations.
The Reverend David O'Brien is a vicar in the area. This church is no longer used for regular services. Do you think the building itself speaks about God?
I think it does. The shape of the building, the stained glass windows, the baptistry, everything in the church is built to remind people of something about the gospel of Jesus Christ. Christianity isn't just about going to services, it's about connecting with God. And although champing seems unusual, if it's a stepping stone for somebody to access the Christian faith, then I think it will be a good outcome and a good use for the church.
I'm pleased to say I'm not the only one sleeping here tonight. Hello.
Hiya, you alright? I'm Sam.
In you come.
Well, I'm an outdoorsy person myself, so I go hiking and camping with friends a lot, most weekends, and this just seemed like a really exciting thing to do.
Right, well I guess that's lights out. Night, Sam.
Night.
Morning, Sam.
Morning.
Well, we made it.
We did.
How did you find your night's sleep?
Pretty good, actually. It was a lot warmer than I thought it would be, and it wasn't spookily quiet as I thought it would be. Actually, it was just really peaceful.
I didn't hear anything go bump in the night.
No, me neither.
But do you think people will take away more from this than just a fun camping experience?
Absolutely. I really hope that people, when they come champing, will be able to experience God in these wonderful, beautiful old churches. I'd definitely recommend it for anybody that wants to just go and experience and see what it's like. It's a great new adventure to try out.
This is definitely the most unusual place I've ever stayed, but it's also one of the most beautiful. And having spent time here, you really get a sense of the worshippers who've been coming here for centuries. I might just be coming champing again.
not yet got your tickets for the Big Sing, then what are you waiting for? This year's event takes place on Sunday the 10th of September. For your chance to see the stars and join our 5,000 strong congregation at the Royal Albert Hall, please go along to our website bbc.co.uk/Songs of Praise. We owe a real debt to the men and women who wrote those great hymns that we so enjoy singing together. One of them was the Reverend Walter Chalmers Smith, who was a minister here in the 19th century. He wrote Immortal, Invisible. Drive across the Forth Road Bridge and we're right away from the hustle and bustle of Edinburgh. This is Kouros, one of the most picturesque and ancient villages in Scotland and one with a rich Christian history. These are the ruins of Kouros Abbey, founded exactly 800 years ago. Archaeologist Adrian Cox is here to tell me more about this once magnificent Christian community. Adrian, help me to make sense of what we can see here.
Well, we're inside a medieval abbey, a Cistercian abbey, which had a number of buildings arranged around a cloister, which is up there above our heads. This would have been ringing to the sounds of bells, and you would hear chanting and prayers. And in a way, a monastery was like the university, the centre of learning of its day.
Why was this abbey founded?
Well, the site is connected with two very famous saints. The first is St. Cerf, who we think founded a religious community on this site in the 6th century. He becomes very important because washed up on the shoreline is a coracle which contains Princess Thenyu, and she has been expelled from East Lothian by her father, and she's pregnant, and St. Cerf takes care of her and her newborn son.
St. Cerf raised the boy in the ways of the Christian faith, and he became St. Kentigern, also known as St. Mungo.
St. Mungo moves on to Glasgow and founds a religious community there, and he's the patron saint of Glasgow.
What was the daily life of the monks as they lived here?
They mostly focused on prayer. They also had some colleagues, some lay brothers, who did all the manual work around the place. It's very useful.
That's what we all need.
That's right, we all need that. In a way, their labour sort of freed up the time for the monks to focus on prayer and devotion to God.
What's your personal sense of this place?
Well, I always feel really privileged. We're very close to the church there. The church is still important and still in use, and it's a very spiritual place. Definitely you can sort of feel the spirituality in the stonework around us, going back, hundreds of years.